this wonderful book, The Unconscious Actor, best book on acting ever written. Out of Control and Full Command. I'm on my 5th reading now, okay? And I read part of this to Friday's class, I believe, and I wanted to impart it to you. After decades of acting with more actors than I could ever count, some good and some not so good, I've come to the conclusion that there are 2 types of acting. There's head acting and heart acting, and they are rarely part of the same package. The head actor is usually a technician, a skilled craftsman, but there's always something missing in their work. The heart actor feels more than he thinks, relies on instincts, is hit or miss in performance, and when it doesn't happen the way he, she, or would like it to happen, always wonders why. That was the method. Method actors had that happen to them all the time. I watched it and saw it and was party to it when some of them were in plays that I got cast in. This is the result of the training actors have received in the United States for almost 100 years. It's also ingrained that by now we've come to accept this dichotomy as a fact. That's the bad part. I mean, you've heard this. How many times have you discussed with fellow actors, well, I think it went good, and I don't know why. And it worked this time, but it didn't work that time. Well, that's not a process. That's talent with a bullet, okay? Why does it not work every time is a question that drives actors crazy. How do I get there? How do I access my emotional truth? How do I make this work every time? Well, you do it through a process, okay? Anyway, it's a problem without a solution, and possibly that's been true until now. The process that Daryl's been developing all these years is an antidote to either or acting. Unconscious actors think with their heads, feel with their hearts, and are whole Zen artists in performance. That's what I learned in Hickman's class. How many of you, the OGs especially, have heard me say that this process is about mastery? It's about control. If it doesn't work every time, you don't have a process. This process, when learned, is ultimately a process about rehearsal. That you can attack a piece of material and know absolutely that you're going to be able to figure it out and make it work every time. And when you go into an audition room or put something on tape or go out to whatever or perform, that confidence alone is worth anything and everything because you're not guessing, right? Okay? Starting with the most basic exercises we do in the workshop, the student learns how to plumb the depths of unconsciousness and acknowledge the inner self as the source of creativity. All the exercises, as they have always been, is his way of putting Stanislavski's eloquent words into action. For him, acting was movement from the soul to the body, from the center to the periphery, from the internal to the external, from emotional experience to physical embodiment. Voice, body, emotional inner life. That's what we're talking about. Do the work, invite creative impulses in, and voila, you've got Anthony Hopkins or Meryl Streep. Okay? Connecting the internal to the external, an integrated actor's body and voice is the goal of more than the 100 exercises he's experimented with over the last 30 years. I talk to Daryl from time to time. God love him. He's 89 and hanging on. And he says that night that he was on the Zoom class was still one of the best nights of his entire life. And he told me, Michael, every exercise I've ever done is just to get actors out of their own way, get them out of their heads, to distract them. And that's what they're for, to connect you in some way. Some exercises connect more than others, okay? Some you'll go, I like that one. Some of that one I can do better, or whatever. It doesn't matter. They're all done for the same thing. We overthink. There's a couple of things I'm trying to make you do in this class. A, up your work ethic. All of you know you got 5 minutes a day, sitting and breathing. That's it. Being aware, being conscious of what you're feeling, let the thoughts go. But just sit and breathe. Take 5 minutes a day out of the hustle and bustle. No, I'll do it tomorrow. Fuck that. Do it now. Do it today. That's number one. Number two, the numbers. Every single day. You should be doing it multiple times, at least once. Get that voice, that body, and that emotion going. Get that body going. Just let it go. It shouldn't have any form. The body wants to talk, believe me, okay? Then we are on a reading program. 1 to 2 plays a week. More is better. Basic, 2 monologues. 1 contemporary, 1 classic. Basic. Work on scenes. Get somebody interested. I don't care if you ever perform them. Work on them. Do more. If you don't do at least that, you can't call yourself an actor in my class. And outside of that, in here, do as many scenes as you want. Angela and I were talking before class. I always had 3 scenes on the go. I worked in selling tools on the telephone from 5 o'clock in the morning to 11. At 11:30, that was my first rehearsal. At 1:30, that was my second one, and at 3:30, that was my third one. Every single day, and on the weekends, all I did is go out for plays. Any play that was male. I remember showing up, some of you have heard this story, I'm sorry to bore you with it, but I'm going to do it again. Somebody said, why are you here? I said, I'm auditioning. Yeah, but the guy's 90. I don't care. It's male. He's 14. I don't care. He's male. And I'd go out. I didn't care. I wanted to. Why? I was scared to death. And I went and did it. And then after a while, I wasn't scared to death. I'd do anything. Okay? That's how you do it. Acting is not something you're going to learn by lecture. You're going to learn it by doing. Okay? So that's your main thing. I shared with Angela, I had one student that come in and spent a year at a program and said, you know, we never did like a whole scene. And I'm going, well, okay. You want to waste your time and money that way, be my guest, but no, we don't play that. Anyway, this book, I'll be reading some more excerpts from you from time to time as they strike me, because this process is what I am trying to impart to you. I want to literally get you the hell out of my class. I want you to learn this process so you don't need me anymore. That's the truth. When you master this process, you won't need an acting class. You'll be your own acting class, okay? And as you know, those of you that have been here a while, it takes a while, yeah? And it almost seems like the more you learn, the more you have to learn. It can get frustrating, can it not? Okay, I still love you. I'm still here. We'll get there together, okay? I want to pass this on to you. When I was, before I was an actor, I was a salesman. I had a whole nother career. The two are very closely aligned. I was playing a part. And I worked for a little company called Roach Reed, and they put me in a town put a territory in Youngstown, Ohio, which is where I was from another little town that was way smaller than Youngstown. That was the big city. And that territory hadn't been worked for over 10 years. And I had to go up against IBM and all these, and for 6 months, I did not sell anything. My boss later told me that he came down in that 6 months and he was ordered by the owner of the company to fire me. But when he walked in, all up on my wall, I had these little 3x5 cards like from Norman Vincent Peale that said, throw your heart over the bar and your body will follow. And they were all motivational things, like there's always more than enough time and money for all of my wants, needs, and desires. And he looked at that wall and he told me right then, and he told me later that right then and there he decided to give me another chance. And basically the next month, I sold my first machine, okay? We had to put down a sales forecast every month of what we were going to sell. Of course, I'd done it for 6 months and never sold anything. And finally, this one month, I'd sold one machine. The next month, I made my entire sales forecast. Every month after that, I exceeded or made that sales forecast, and I became Salesman of the Year. And they gave me a plaque that was attributed to the great Vince Lombardi, who was the coach of the Green Bay Packers that won the first 2 Super Bowls and 3 championships. And I want to read this to you. Some of you have heard it before. But it's been what I live my life by, and it has stood me in incredible stead, especially being an actor. Press on. Nothing in the world succeeds. I'll try that again. Nothing in the world succeeds like persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men and women with talent. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. Keep going. One foot in front of the other. Don't let anybody tell you no. Thank you for listening.